Even myself out here. What
Please.
is up, jabronis? JJ back here with Holden. Talking a little Thursday night football, along with some favorite player props for the weekend. Holden, the show continues to do well, which is great. The problem is it happens so early in the week that most people forget about it. Now, you actually, for the first time, though, I think I went 1-1 with my props for the first time in 4 weeks, 5 weeks. It was
You lost one. It was disappointing. I was upset at you.
Yeah, I'll tell you this though, you absolutely slayed the Derrick
Not
Henry.
Thursday night, folks. Thursday night, if you watched the show and you said, "Boy, this guy is a jabroni," and you're probably telling yourself I'm a jabroni. I think I went 1-3 there. Lamar didn't run, but I told you Derrick Henry was my favorite prop, over 97.5, then over 155.5. And then over 200.5, and just mix that in with touchdowns and 2 touchdowns, and it was 8 units. So down 2 on Thursday, but up about 8 on Derrick Henry, man. There's just anytime he plays the Texans, I just go all in on him. It's a 202 touchdown day waiting to happen. So I don't know if there's going to be anything like that on this slate this week. There's still some games where we're not seeing very much posted. I am looking forward to that Monday night game, though, JJ, because if they do throw the Lamar prop, I was just breaking that down. They throw that Lamar prop back under 60. I think it's pretty easy to go in there. And then we might actually want to jack that one up, do like 75s, 85s, 90s. So I think once they drop those Lamar props, that'll be my next big let's go all on in, because he's going to bounce back big time with a little extra rest.
I like the method, though. When you like a spot, just absolutely pound it. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to get everything else wrong, might as well try and just get something right there. So I'm excited. Now, is Kurt coming, or is something going on with him?
Said he's just running a bit late. He's hoping he'll be here. That's what I've heard.
He is running a bit late, and he expects to make it onto this show. How disrespectful is it? Who is this character?
You know Kurt.
I don't think I do.
He's with RPS.
Don't know a lot of people here. Saw a guy in chat. His name is Bobby H. He's a new guy too. Need to meet Bobby H. Need to meet Kurt. A lot of people like that.
First of all, I can't even fathom. Like, I know there's not a whole lot of people watching, but like, does anybody rationally understand how Holden has no idea who Kurt is?
I have no idea who anybody is at RPS. I only talk with the head honchos, JJ. And then, if we hire some of our subscribers like Natisify, Glock, I'll know who they are. But no idea who Kurt is. I keep hearing about this Steve Boynton individual. All of them. AP.
I love
who are these people?
I love the sarcasm. See, now I'm on board.
I let you know.
You sold it really well. You sold
Here
it.
Here's the problem.
Go. Of course,
What happened?
They're gonna call a
what are you watching? Maction?
The Rice game. They're gonna call They're gonna call block in the back at the end of this.
It's fucking great TV, buddy. Can we talk some football and get out of here so we can have a good night? We got World Series. We got football. We got a little NBA I got to watch tonight. So we got a lot on the TVs this evening, my friend. Let's go. Yeah, since you're the snotty hottie, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go first.
Go.
We can either go back to my Mariota props, which hit again. Oh, you know what? We're going to start with Jalen Waddle. Were you on Waddle last week too? It was either last week or 2 weeks ago. Everybody talks about Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill is amazing, and he might break our boy Megatron's record for receiving yards in a season. But Waddle's got every bit the ceiling. He's getting targets. He's getting 7, 8, 9 targets. Waddle this week. This is a game where they're taking. I think they're going to pepper him left and right. Over 68.5 receiving yards. I know the Bears have a middle of the road pass defense. If you look at all of the advanced metrics, maybe you're saying, oh, they're not going to throw it as much. I call bullshit. I've got one projection at 63.5. I got 2 projections at 81 and 88.5. I'm going to lean there. He has blown through this number in 3 games. Tua loves Waddle, loves Tyreek. Maybe they run a little bit this week, but over 68.5 receiving yards for Waddle. And this is something he could do on 2 catches. So I'm feeling good about it. What about you, man?
I will tell you this, and not to play devil's advocate, but I do like to target those 2 Miami pass catchers in games that I do expect to shoot. the idea that the Bears are going to make this into a shootout is not exactly something I love. Feels a little more like a Mostert type game, but again, I could be convinced otherwise. But I do
keep telling you to bet opposite me, and you would have made money.
I do. However, with that said, look, Waddle's number, they continue to hang him at 67, 68, and there's plenty of upside. So, no, I can't mind it at all. It is actually incredible that they're running – McDaniel's running that offense like a college offense. It funnels through three individuals, them two and Mostert, and nobody can stop it, like with consistency at least. So
you know what? It's interesting, though. It's one of the higher Bears totals, too, 45.5. Normally you'll see like a 42 and a hook or 40 and a half. It's actually up to 45.5 this week. So like I said, I like Waddle. If you bet against me, you've made money this season. So by all means, feel free to do so. But I like this bet. What do you got, JJ?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not one to talk. It's not like Kurt just got off his exit. What a tough scene.
He ain't going to make it.
Yeah, maybe next week, Kurt. So I'm here making fun of you, and this one's going to be a dusty one, but I don't care. I mean, to me, it's a number spot. Drake London, the dude is absolute butt cheeks, right? What are you putting the hand on the face for?
Because you said the words Drake London. So now you know he's going to smash.
I could be betting him under.
I fucking cannot.
So I bet.
My next bet is completely opposite of that. So go for it, buddy.
I bet Drake London over 39.5 receiving yards. We did this a few weeks ago, and actually I did this with Deontay Johnson last week, and it was my first loss in a while. I do like when these numbers crawl to a certain point where you just from a value perspective, you got to look in the other direction. London has barely been targeted in this offense. But again, he's on the field consistently. Last week was a Pitts week. Feels like it's only a matter of time before London has a decent game. It's a very small number. So I love the spot, 39.5. It's one of the smaller numbers he's had this year. And I do like to obviously target basement type numbers. So I feel like we're getting them here with London. I don't think we're going to get much lower than 39.5 for him for the rest of the season. So yes, I fired on that over. Holden, thoughts?
All right, I'll just go back to my Mariota. I think I did it last week. I've done it every single week. I think I've talked with you about it last week. Mariota, under pass attempts and under passing yards once again. So, my friend, if he gets to 40 passing yards, that's going to be, and Mariota's passing props 188.5. He's going to have a significant portion of this offense. So back to Mariota, under 24.5 pass attempts. I mean, the Falcons just don't want Mariota to throw, and it's evidenced by the numbers here. The Falcons are winning without a pass game. They're taking on the Chargers, who literally get run on by any single team. There's no reason for them to pass the ball unless they fall behind somehow, some way. The under is hit Mariota props on these 4 out of the last 6 on the pass attempts, which is under 24.5. So I hit that, and then under 188.5. He's hit under 4 or 5 on that one. So it really is amazing how just every single week they do not want this guy throwing a football. They just love running. And you know what, JJ? It's working for him. Yours is going to hit. Yours is going to hit if the Chargers play some good football, though. That's the way it has to be. They got to get a lead.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I guess, I mean, to your point, I think, if you're watching the tape and you're the Chargers, why are you not stacking the box here, right? So, but yeah, the Falcons, despite that, have not made any adjustments. And I'm not asking them to make adjustments, just hoping that they go look a little more Drake London's way this week. But who knows? We'll see. I will say this. Actually, I wanted to mention this comment. Gun your head for Survivor contest, Commandos or Raiders.
Can we talk Survivor after our picks? Because I really actually want to get into it for a little bit with you.
All right, we can. It'll hurt my feelings for us to talk on an entire segment of Survivor, considering I'm out of all my Survivors, but we can talk.
You're asking the guy that's not into Survivor for his Survivors.
Exactly. All right. So my other pick is, look, he's been good to me this year. Right back to Christian Kirk. It's going to be a game that figures to be plenty of scoring, plenty of offense. Maybe not plenty of scoring, but definitely plenty of offense. Look, the guy, typically you can count on him to get 7-8 targets in games that shoot out, sometimes even more. Definitely has big play potential. Lawrence is by far favorite target. I did like a little bit of Zay Jones there for a few weeks, but I think it's swinging back towards Kirk. And again, a game where they're going to need offense. I mean, ETN's been incredible, but Passing wise, Ingram had a big game last week. I think this becomes a Kirk week. Kirk hasn't gone over this number, I think, in his last 2 weeks. And these are the spots I really like.
What's the number?
54.5.
He went over it in that Giants game. Besides for that, he has struggled over the last 4. So he went over it one time in the last 4. And they actually were talking about how it is unacceptable. They only got 7 targets last week. So I like that.
Yeah, we've said this all year long, right? They paid him a lot of money. And early on, they were using him a ton, like they did pay him a lot of money. And at some point, that stopped. I don't know if it's a coverage issue. I don't know if it's a blanketing issue, but either way, I would figure get him going this week. Makes sense.
Oh, last week, Pat Surtain was on him a lot. Okay. So I would throw last week's. If you're going over on a Christian Kirk, just throw that out from last week. He's going to be fine. So I like it. I'm probably going to tell you on that one. Give me the number one more time.
54.5 DK.
Yeah. I like it. We'll go Kirk. I'm going to tell you on that one. I'll probably look into it a little bit more, but after what I was reading this week, they were just saying to themselves, we have to get this guy the ball more. It's unacceptable. So hopefully that's the way it goes. Let me see adjusted. Oh, and it's the Raiders. Come on, man. All right. That's an official tale of JJ's Christian Kirk prop.
By the way, I like you. Would you consider that a long sleeve shirt or a sweatshirt?
This is a sweater. It is a beautiful cashmere sweater.
Cashmere.
And I brought it to
I like that too. It's like
what do they call those? The dry clean person, and they totally fucked it up. And I almost got in a fight with the guy. Like we were screaming at each other. I don't think either one of us understood a goddamn word we were saying to each other. He knew I was upset. I knew that he knew that I was upset, but ultimately $250 sweater, this son of a bitch ruined it. But it is really comfortable.
Sweaters at $250?
It is really comfortable. Yeah, I love sweaters, dude. I love sweaters. And I was so upset at him. Not happy.
I mean, that's incredible with how much you mock my wardrobe. You're walking around with a $250 cashmere sweater on.
The fuck is wrong with that?
I mean, it's just, it makes a statement is what it does.
It's ruined. So I can wear it all around now.
Makes a statement.
This guy ruined it.
So rich. Just so rich.
It used to be.
My shirt I'm wearing right now has holes in it.
Used to be.
Because
that's what I usually wear.
That's the minimalist type of life I live.
Yeah, well, I think if you've ever watched on a different show with me, you realize that I usually dress worse than you. But you do look like a fucking slob today. There's no question. Like, did you just roll out? You got a hat on backwards. Your shirt's wrinkled. Like, were you even wearing a shirt today?
Yeah, I'm not a heathen. I was wearing a shirt today.
Yeah.
It didn't happen to be this one, but I was wearing a shirt today.
It's snowing here in Denver, by the way. 70 yesterday, snow today, JJ. You got any snow coming your way yet? When does it usually snow in Jersey anymore?
Depending the year, it could be snowing around this time, but it's still a little too warm. It will get colder.
All right, let's talk. I don't care. Let's talk Survivor, and then we'll get into Thursday Night Football.
Fair enough.
The question from Cody.
Good talk.
The question from Cody Ave. First of all, gun to your head. I hate that saying, gun to your head. You know, out of spite, I'd be like, fucking pull the trigger. Let's see if you're a real man. Okay, that's the first thing I'd say.
What would you prefer outside?
I'd say head in the guillotine.
Head in the guillotine.
Head in the guillotine, excuse me. If your head is in the guillotine and you see that thing sitting up there, who would you take? Commandos plus 3.5 for Raiders minus 1.5. Because you don't see many guillotines anymore. That's not big. They should bring that shit back, though.
Maybe head in the wood chipper, right?
Now you're talking.
It makes you a little different, right?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Yeah. So, Cody, quick question for you: why does it have to be only those two teams? I guess you don't have any of the others that are options. I know you only asked it as that, but there's a lot of different options in Survivor this week. Those are not two I would have gone to. I presume the rest of your selections are all underdogs. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to pick the Raiders on the road. I don't love the spot, obviously, but the reason I ask is because at this point of the season, you actually you should have a few different options this week, except for those two teams. But if those two teams are the options, yeah, I think you'd have to go Raiders, personally.
Oh shit! Kyrie Irving suspended 5 games without pay. We have breaking news on our football show that some of you will be watching Sunday morning. So I'm sure everybody's going to be very level-headed about that. Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you proclaim the earth is flat for 5 years.
Yeah, that's my whole problem. If you believe the earth is flat, I don't give a shit what you say. You can say whatever you want, literally. And it doesn't matter to me. You're just a dumbass. You can be really smart to get into Duke. You're not really smart to get into Duke. You're a good basketball player.
I think, and I know this sounds crazy, Holden. I'm interested in your thoughts on this. I think I've said this before too. I think consistently out of nowhere, the United States specifically should have white vans driving all over the place, knocking on doors, asking a simple question. Hello, sir. Earth. Round, flat. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the earth?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who says the earth is flat, they get thrown in the van, and it's the last time we'll see them.
Really?
They're doing our society. No, they're doing.
I feel like your dad's a flat earther. So wouldn't you feel?
He might actually be a casualty in that scenario.
That's what I'm saying. Wouldn't that hurt your feelings? Like if your dad got hauled off because he believes the earth is flat?
Yeah, it would. It would. But I don't think he's a lot of things. I don't think he's that.
I know 3 former baseball players. None of them believe in dinosaurs too. None of them.
Okay.
They do not believe in dinosaurs. They're like, it doesn't match up with the timeline.
Now I'm not a science guy, but there's a decent amount of evidence that says they were here.
There's a lot here in Denver. They just pulled up a big skeleton recently from some type of saurus. So I'll just say this. Yeah, that's where we went down the rabbit hole today. Fuck you, Kurt, whoever you are, for ruining the show by not being here. Cody says Dolphins was another one.
So I don't know if I can take that. I would think in your survivors, you have little reason to be contrarian. All the survivors I was in, the leagues were less than 5% left. So obviously, if you have a pack league and you're still looking to be contrarian, fair. But I personally wouldn't try to be that crazy contrarian. But out of those options, I would personally prefer the Pats over the Colts. Colts seem like they're a little bit in shambles right now.
All right, let's get to Thursday Night Football. If you guys got any questions or comments, if you believe the earth is flat or you do not believe in dinosaurs, love to hear from you. That would be terrific as well. But we do have a Thursday Night Football game tonight. And, during the baseball season, if you watch this, I always gave the big dick with a big whale cock play of the day, right?
That's right.
The problem is in football, you can't do like, all right, Yankees over a half run minus 10,000. You can't do that. Like you can't go down to Eagles to score 3.5, but I'll just give you a generalized. So Dameon Pierce over 1.5 rushing plus receiving would probably be what? Minus 10,000. So my imaginary whalecock play of the day, Dameon Pierce over 1.5 yards rushing receiving. Now I do have 2 Dameon Pierce bets tonight though. Okay. First of all, I love him over 17.5 receiving yards, even 18.5 receiving yards. Now we got no Brandon Cooks. I'm still waiting on the Nico Collins injury. Even if he's in, man, who are they going to throw to? Seriously. And he's been worked into the passing game a little bit more. So I love Pierce over 17.5. No Cooks and now no Collins. Okay, there you go. So you tell me.
The tight ends and legendary journeyman Philip Dorsett.
Okay, well, there you go. And then the other one would be Pierce rushing yards. Now, I love Dameon Pierce running the football. The problem is he could get 20 carries tonight. I don't think he's getting to 60 yards. All the linebackers for the Eagles are healthy. There's no way they're not gonna stack the box against this guy. So again, as much as I love Pierce, if he's gonna get any yards tonight, it's gonna be through the air. Pierce under 66.5 rush. Over 17.5 receiving. What do you got? That's just my first one, by the way. I have so many for you tonight.
Fantastic. Thanks. So I bet the first half over. To me, games like this are kitchen sink type games for teams like Houston. And they're doing their best. They'll be doing their best to keep this as close as possible for most of the game. And in order to do so, you typically pull some tricks out of your sleeve. And when you do that, it typically results in more points one way or the other. I do think Houston figures certain things out offensively. I'm also not exactly convinced Philly's especially on their defense, that they're exactly getting up for this game. So either way, I think the number's a little small. I did bet the first half over. I didn't bet second half over because I did feel like if I got a really good first half out of Philly, they would slam the brakes in the second half. So yeah, I think you could. In theory, I think you can get there alone with Philly. I think that Houston could surprise a few early in the game. And let's be honest, it's hard to prep for a team that you don't even know the players you're prepping for. So I think overall, despite these obviously pass catchers being out, I mean, Brandon Cooks is worth nothing to a line to me. Yeah, both of them together, some continuity issues, but hasn't Nico Collins been out?
Nico Collins has been in and out.
Fair.
Okay.
Fair.
I think he was out last week, but he's been questionable every single week on the report. I think it's been 2 weeks he's been out now. So just last week, and this will be the second week.
Fair. I do. With all that said, yeah, that was where I fired. Wouldn't surprise me, of course, if Philly winds up winning the first half 7-0. But I think Houston gets some points on the board, and Philly's the best first half offensive football. So
okay, I'm going all in on Hurts tonight on a lot of different ways. First of all, his rushing yards. Hurts over 40.5. I don't see a single. Well, first of all, I used 3 projections. Then today, I just went on SaberSim and looked around. Like, this number is way off. Maybe he's not going to run because it could be a blowout tonight, but everywhere, anything. So I'm over 40.5 rushing yards on Jalen Hurts. I'm also going to go him scoring an anytime touchdown. You can get that still around minus. I think there was one with 115, minus 125 on DraftKings was out there. See if they're still hanging that for an anytime touchdown. And then Jalen Hurts had scored the first touchdown a couple of times early in the season. These first touchdown bets are sprinkles. You've said it before. I'll tell you again. Usually you're going to bet 3 or 4 of them, but I'm just going to throw a little dart at Hurts with the first touchdown. So the 2 bets with the full unit, though, the anytime touchdown for Jalen Hurts over 40.5 rushing. You can do that on a run.
I always tell folks with games like this, especially games that are anticipated to be blowouts, when you are going to bet 3 anytime touchdowns, you don't do it. You don't split it. You pick one team. If it's the favorite, fine. Yes. If it's the underdog, great. And you pick 3 players from there. Obviously, in a spot like today, if you did pick 3 players from Houston, I feel like you'd have a decent shot at hitting it if Houston does score first. They don't exactly have many type of guys to pick in this spot. So, yeah, either way, I can't argue Hurts, so that's for sure.
All right, so we're going all in on Hurts. What do you got?
So as far as pass props go, my feelings are a little hurt, no pun intended. But I'm seeing here Tyler on our end was a little bit in disagreement here. I've said all year, like, Davis Mills pass attempts over. Like, the dude, especially in games that they're trailing, like, it just gets there. Last week was a lone week where it didn't get there. And I bet this, I think, twice this year already. Both times have hit. Makes sense, all things considered. I know they're going to want to establish the ground game with Pierce. They're going to want to keep Philly's offense off the field. But to me, quick shots offensively. You have a bunch of new guys. It wouldn't surprise me if the attempts pile up, short range attempts pile up to almost create a hybrid type run game where you throw a lot of short passes, keep drives alive. Philly's going to obviously overcommit for the run. I think it makes a lot of sense for our friend Longneck to get over his pass attempts again. I think he's done it 5 out of 7 or 6 out of 8 this year.
And that does not correlate him to going over yards either. That just correlate. That just right. And I was looking hard. I'm probably going to bet. I hope he has a good first drive, because if that number goes up to like 230, I'm betting the shit out of it under. He's just not going to get there. It's just not going to get there. I don't see it happening. One play for this weekend that I'm on is Commanders. I hate the Commanders organization, but 3.5 at home.
It's a strong word, Holden and cancel culture.
Well, I mean, Dan Snyder's little lackey got me fired from my sports talk show host, so he can go fuck himself.
I didn't remember.
It ended up being where that guy was a sexual predator. He got fired. Dan Snyder's a piece of shit too.
Oh, this is years back though.
2014. I just haven't given it up. I'm still upset. Like, just because you said something that's true. And then they threatened to sue your station, and then it's over. Anyways, Commanders plus 3.5. First of all, I know you love Kirk Cousins in the 1 o'clock time zone. Look at your face. Looks like you're trying to hold in a shit. They're a better team with Heineke, believe it or not. Offensive numbers have really gone up. with Heineke there. I don't trust Kirk Cousins. There's a million other notes I have. Unfortunately, I'm an idiot and they're in my bedroom. So just trust me when I say Commanders plus 3.5 at home. I wouldn't go just with the 3 with the push. I like that hook. These games they're always so close, JJ. They're always so damn close. And Washington's not a good football team, but now you got Kurt. You got his revenge spot. I'm not buying it. And Antonio Gibson's starting to bust out too. Defensively, they're getting a pass rush with Washington. This is going to be an 8-9 team this year. Commanders plus 3.5. Anything else before we get out of here?
No. I will say I agree. I mean, primarily because I know the Vikings ended up winning by 8 or 9 against Arizona, but I'll say this: just tease Washington. Minnesota is incapable of winning a game by double.
That's a great one too. A little tease action. Yeah,
I've convinced myself Minnesota is as incapable of winning a game by double digits. If they go up, they let the team come back. If the game is a stalemate, obviously they won't win by double digits. Very few scenarios where this team wins by double digits. I
hear you, man. I can't stand him. I can't stand him on the road. I can't stand Kirk Cousins, and the Commandos are going to take care of business this week.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's where I was confused, Cody. When you keep saying plus 3.5, are you in a Survivor league that's relative to point spreads? Because I didn't realize that. That does change things for me. I will say that. And it looks like that's what you mean.
How's it change things?
Well, because in your traditional Survivors, you're just picking a team to win. It looks like he's in a Survivor league that is in relation to spreads. So then, yeah, actually out of that whole list, I agree with you. Commanders make sense at plus 3.5.
Anything else you'd like to say before we get out of here?
No. Well, actually, yes, I do. We have Print Factory coming up tomorrow afternoon for Run Pure members. Obviously, me, Big T, JSU, ODB. Saturday, the college football show. And Sunday, obviously, me and Holden are back with JSU again for the final countdown for DFS.
Yes, we are.
In relation to, I will say real quick, because obviously this is the DFS channel, in relation to showdowns today, I did not play it. I will say this, but I did look at the pricing. I looked at everything. If you are playing it, me personally, it looks like it'll be pretty common, probably 4-2, 5-1, right, with Philly stacks. Davis Mills has to throw the ball to somebody today, and these guys are all dirt cheap. I think you're doing yourself a disservice not having at least one pass catcher for Houston in any lineup. Now, granted, I'm sure it's common to have 4 or 5 Eagles and Dameon Pierce, or maybe Houston's kicker. I personally would play 1, possibly even 2 pass catchers for Houston because they're super cheap. You could still load up on heavy Philly guys if you want. And again, from a game leverage standpoint, I just don't think a lot of people are going to be doing that. So.
Tyron Johnson and Big T's pool tonight. Fascinating.
Free square. $200, I think.
I'll take Brevin Jordan free square too, but yeah, $200. You can't mess with that, man. I don't mind that at all. What about defense? Anything defensive wise tonight?
So on slates like this, and this has burned me all year in showdowns, and I haven't prepared enough for it, that's why I didn't play it. But on a slate like this, you just never play Philly's defense. I get it. They're going to be crazy owned. You just don't. Granted, Philly's defense could own today, and it just doesn't matter. Everybody's going to play them. These are the types of slates where you don't play Philly's defense, and you just hope that Houston scores 10 or 13 points. Philly limits their sacks, limits turnovers, and there's just no way they wind up in the optimal. So yeah, if you're asking me on defenses, I wouldn't play either defense tonight. Okay. Primarily because of game theory or game leverage. Everyone.
You wouldn't play kickers either, huh?
I would play Philly's kicker. I wouldn't play Houston.
Jake Elliott. Yeah, I like him too. All right, buddy. Good show. Wonderful to see you again.
Fun stuff as always. I think you're lying. But fun stuff as always. I wish you all the best of luck with all your picks tonight, all your picks all weekend. And again, we'll obviously me and Holden will be around in various capacities this week. With all that said, gamble responsibly, stay safe, and yes, run pure, folks. See you next week.